All right, everyone. Let me just check to make sure that we are live. Yes, yes, yes. We are live. We are live. I will just wave with one hand. I'll wave with one hand today, unusual. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us to another edition of Caribbean Diaspora Vibes. We want to welcome you. It's the beginning of an amazing new month, September.
Yes.
Lots of
Yes.
birthdays, lots of, activities, Labor Day just now. I saw New York had like a most amazing carnival, West Indian carnival in New York. Man, that was amazing to see. I think there was a little something at the end of the day, but I think it was shooting or something minor. So we want to welcome you all. Everyone, my name is Donna Morton Morgan. I'm the president of Caribbean American Diaspora, president of Women of Culture Incorporated, real estate broker, mindset coach, and want to welcome you for our Let's Talk title tonight. An abundance of information and wisdom coming through tonight. So we want to just
Yes.
say hello to our co-host, and then we'll go on to our guest. Hey, Dr. Arlene, how are you?
Very well. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and to see Luis again. And welcome, Dee.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
guys for having me.
we haven't seen Louis in a little bit. Louis, how are you?
All is well. No complaint. I'm glad to be here, and it's a good day to be here. And of course, we want to just welcome all of our listeners across the diaspora and across the world that tune in to our segment today. Welcome to Caribbean Diaspora Vibes. And this evening we have a plethora of information to pass on to you for those of you out there who are going through buying homes or trying to, put someone on your deed or your house. So much information. So stick around. We have a lot of great information. Want to, of course, welcome Miss D, who is going to be our main contributor this evening. Welcome to Caribbean Rhythms Radio
Thank you,
Network.
sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So welcome, Dee Harrison. Give us a little snippet about who you are.
Okay. I started in this title industry 35 years ago, and I've not looked back since because I just found my passion. And I think that in life, when you find your passion and what you're really passionate about, that's where you'll excel and succeed. And so I've just ran with it, and I've had a lot of mentors, worked at some really great places. And then the entrepreneurial side of my family is so strong. So I launched out on my own 30 years ago and weathered the storm, the good, the bad, the recessions, and all the downsides, the downturns in this market. But we stand strong because we're Caribbean people and it's in our blood.
Yes.
So I have a paralegal degree as well. I obtained that during the recession when I had not much to do. There was not much business. I thought instead of changing career path, like a lot of my colleagues were doing, I stayed in the industry by doing my paralegal degree so I could further equip myself with more knowledge to bring to my people because I know it was just a matter of time before it passed over and we'll be back in business. And here I
Mhm.
am with a wealth of knowledge and experience. And I pride myself with a good team over the years.
Mhm.
And we say we're a small business, but what we do is definitely not small.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good to join you guys tonight.
Yeah. So tell us the name of your company.
It's Alpha Reliable Title. We're located in Orlando. We have an office in Maitland, and we cover the entire state of Florida and facilities in all states. We're part of the Regis shared spaces, so we can close in our own comfort in all states.
Wow. Amazing. So Maitland, and Orlando, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you're from, if you're in that Kissimmee area, that Orlando, Sand Lake area will be convenient to you if Dr. Phillips, etc. And that if you're in Lake Mary, up in Sanford, Sanford, that Maitland area is also convenient.
Right, but keep in mind the beauty of being a part of the Regis shared spaces. They don't have to come to us.
You
We
can.
go to them, and we can still close in a beautiful space.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. Good
Mm-hmm.
to know. So wherever you're there,
Wherever you're there, we come find you.
come find you. I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about there's, quit claim deeds and I don't know, you're not an attorney, right? You're
Right.
not here to give advice, but I know there's some tips. People have been asking tips. What is a quit claim deed? Educate us on when do you usually do one and because people are even trying to do their own too and all of that, and it can become a big,
Mm-hmm.
big problem.
Right. So, first of all, like you said, Donna, I am not an attorney. I've acquired a wealth of knowledge over 35 years, and that has allowed me to be able to come on here and share my view from an knowledge and experience standpoint. So, no part of our conversation is legal advice. We always ask our listeners and our viewers to get legal advice, seek a real estate attorney. If you have none, we can always find you a good one. When it comes down to quit claim deed, what the attorneys will agree on is that it is an easy document that people feel like because it's easily obtainable, it is the best course of action, and it is actually one of the worst course of actions in most transactions that a family think a quitclaim deed is the right thing to do. Uh, it is actually a dangerous document, especially if it is prepared by a non-attorney. And only an attorney can actually legally draft a quitclaim deed because of the technicalities that can be found when we do a title search and the quitclaim deed is not properly prepared. All the correct elements are there, and properly witnessed and notarized. But that's not the most dangerous part of doing a quitclaim deed. The biggest myth is that when someone gets a quitclaim deed, they have warranties to title, they have clear title, insurable title, but it's the complete opposite. With a quitclaim deed, you actually take over any drama, any liens, any encumbrances that is against that property. So we always ask that if anyone's going to do a quitclaim deed, seek an attorney, get some legal advice, see if that's the right fit for you. Most times, quitclaim deeds are commonly done between family members. That's when they know a little bit more about the property, the history, and it's a trust factor. But stranger to stranger, investors do a lot of quitclaim deed, then they have to clear liens at
Mhm.
closings because those liens they travel with the property. So that's the reason it's actually called quit claim deed. The owner is actually quitting from all the claims. Okay, so they're not warranting any title. They're just saying, hey, do you want this house? Take it. If there's a mortgage, it's going to still be there. If there's a lien by the county or by any entity, it's going to still be there. Some of the things that someone needs to be concerned more so about when it comes to quitclaim deeds are judgments such as child support judgments. Okay. uh People don't realize how often we get stuck on child support judgment from the previous owner who deeded to the current owner. Those judgments are still there, and 9 times out of 10, the person who quitclaimed that property is gone.
Mm-hmm.
They got their money if money exchanged hands, or if they were just frustrated with the property and they just want out. They're gone, and it's difficult to find them. So those are some of the dangers in doing a quitclaim deed when you really don't know what's against the title.
Right. And then also, I mean, I've had calls where people have done a quick claim deed and didn't realize that they no longer owned the home. They were still responsible for the mortgage, but didn't own the home. And that's a terrible situation.
Correct. And that's where legal advice comes in. And that's why we always point our clients to getting an attorney. But a title search is what we will tell all clients. It doesn't matter what kind of deed a person is going to get, first of all. Any kind of conveyance of title should trigger a title search, because the person can tell you uh, that they want to give you the property,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't tell you what they have against the property. They can have a second mortgage for a forbearance, for example. They can forget about it, or they didn't realize that HUD recorded a mortgage for those funds. They
Mm-hmm.
could have gotten down payment assistance, which has not ran the required amount of years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, first time home buyers don't understand how those things affect their title. They
Mm-hmm.
know they signed for it at closing, right? And they know they did take it out. That's not the question. But they didn't realize that when they deeded over the house, those were not going to come out of their names and automatically fall onto the grantee's name. So now that grantee is stuck with all those encumbrances. Now, we've also seen where they knew about them, but when title search is done,
Mm-hmm.
that's when a lot of people say, well, I knew about the first mortgage, I didn't know about the second, and those things. And of course, they wouldn't know about the judgments because those are personal items, because judgments are recorded against the individual's name, but it runs with the property. So they wouldn't know about the person's public records.
Right.
So, yeah, quitclaim deeds does not take the mortgage out of their name. The whole um the full picture of doing that scenario, especially, is once the quitclaim deed is done, if they're going to do a quitclaim deed and their attorney advised that it is the right course of action, then they have to then allow that quitclaim deed to sit in their name. We call that seasoning of title. There are a lot of lenders who will allow immediate refinance, but once they satisfy the lender's guideline of how long that deed needs to be reflected in their names, then they can turn around and refinance that mortgage. And with the refinancing, the seller's mortgage will be paid off and satisfied, and their new mortgage will be recorded, but not immediately with the quitclaim deed, not automatically.
Yeah. It's good to see you again. I've worked with you before with Carol Fisher.
I
I just
know,
remember.
I know. Yes, good to see you. I was gonna say hi earlier, but we went right
Yeah,
into it.
it's
Yes.
all. The dangerous part of quick claim deed. I used to see people go to Office Depot, and there is some package there that
Yes.
they say, hey,
Uh-huh.
write that deed, and
Yep.
a lot of that happened back in 2008, 2009 when the market went down because of all these
Yes.
indeed
Yes.
right and center. That is obviously the danger part of quick claim deed because people do it and they don't realize what it really is or the
Right.
consequence a quick claim deed. Now, what is the difference between, okay, you close on a property and you want to put your husband on it. Your husband wasn't qualified, or your boyfriend, or whoever the case might be. And you say, all right, I'm going to put you on the title as an owner, but you're not on the mortgage. What is the difference between removing that person if they're not on the mortgage versus them just being on the title? How does that work?
Okay,
You-
so that's a two-part issue. So the first issue you mentioned, we're gonna address that so viewers can fully understand that one, it is considered mortgage fraud to have just one person qualify for the mortgage and then add the next person afterwards without the knowledge of the lender. That is
Ah,
clearly stated in the person's mortgage document, and that's where we strongly always advise people to not go off and pull that Office Depot form and do
mhm,
a quick claim deed after closing. Need to let your lender know that you want to add your spouse to the mortgage. At that
very good.
point, they can probably do a waiver or something to add the spouse to allow. Once the lender has knowledge, that's fine. But without the lender's knowledge, the mortgage document states that if there's any transfer or conveyance of title, which a quitclaim deed is a conveyance and a transfer, adding anyone who is not on the promissory note is considered reason for the lender to escalate the mortgage, call the mortgage due and payable in 30 days. So they
Mm,
have to know the dangers of quit claim deeds when they have a mortgage. That's why I said the best case scenario for quit claim deeds is between family members where the property is paid off and mom is getting older and she may say, I don't want the house in my name. I can't handle the bills and whatever. Or your sister and brother, or where the
family.
mortgage is free and clear. If a
Mhm.
property is not free and clear, any conveyance without the lender's knowledge is not a good situation to be in.
Mm, very good.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
so
we have seen.
are you referring to like maybe you bought the house 5 years and then 5 years later you get married and now you've got a spouse living like with you? How does that
Yeah,
work?
yes,
Okay,
yes. Situation
so
like that, of course.
so in every situation where there is a mortgage, you have to consider the mortgage, okay? It is not as grave as if you're coming off. So if you're staying on and you're just adding your spouse, that's, I don't think the lender considers that a grave situation. So I'm pretty sure the lenders will acknowledge the deed. You send it into them, they put it on their file, and that's it. But in the event that you're adding on someone who is not related or deeding out of your name,
Mm,
that's
mm,
the dangerous part when there's a mortgage. But adding your spouse, if you end up getting married, I think that that's explainable.
Right.
what about if you add your spouse legally the right way at closing, right? Everything is good and dandy, but come 3, 4, 5 years down the road, both of you not getting along. Um, what is the best way to get rid? Because quick claim is both ways, it's on and off. What is the easiest way to get rid of that person off? Do you have to go through the mortgage again to let them know that, oh, I'm taking this person off because we're no longer married or we're no longer working with each other? How does that work?
Okay, so in that situation, again, this is not legal advice. So
Yes.
straight across the board, uh, this is something that they will always need to seek legal advice for if the property is homestead. If the
Mhm.
property is the primary residence of the couple and they're not getting along, if they're not legally divorced, that person cannot divest out the person's homestead interest in the property. Florida does not consider separation, just divorce. Okay, so they can quit claim off their vested interest, but not their homestead rights, because in Florida, Florida is a homestead state. So they
Yes.
would need uh definitely to sit with a real estate attorney and address their issues, see if they're agreeing to get a divorce, or if why they're staying married, if they're not getting along. I mean, those are reasons that they need to consider how it's going to affect their lives moving forward, because unless they get a divorce, that person who they're quit claiming off still has to sign the warranty deed when they go to sell the property, if they continue to remain married to that person and the spouse continue to live in the house. Anywhere one spouse lives in Florida, the other becomes homeless, they can pick up their bags and say, honey, I'm home,
Mm,
if they're not divorced. Again, this is not legal advice,
of
but
course.
you cannot quit claim out the person's homestead rights.
Okay.
Too.
And if you're
Very good.
married, you need to. Do you know how many times we get to closing and people forgot that they have a spouse, or because they left 10 years,
Funny.
Yes.
left 10 years ago, right? All of a sudden, we're like, no, you're still married. So all these things are so important.
Right. Well, Donna, like you said, how many times we get to closing, and that's it. I'm sure you are diligent in your real estate business, but that's what I hope that will come back to this business is the professionalism, the knowledge, and continuing to learn and build on what you have,
Yeah.
because those situations should not come to the closing table. The realtor needed to know, and we have seen them, don't get me wrong, we have seen them and we have addressed them multiple times, but when they have a title company who's going to do the right thing and insist that we need your husband, you see how fast that man turn up.
Mm-hmm.
But they will play, I've not spoken to him in 15 years. We had one lady who told us, I don't know where he is, I haven't talked to him in 15 years. I said, don't you have kids together? Yes, my kids talk to him, but I don't. I said, well, let your kid know, tell your dad you guys have business to do. And in no time that man was here to sign. She
Mm-hmm.
knew exactly where he was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's very
if
important.
if they ever believe that there are ways around a certain situation,
Right.
that's the curve they're taking. But you can't do that on on conveyance of properties, because that's jeopardizing the title insurance to the buyer. We're supposed to protect the buyer with that title insurance to make sure that they enjoy a peaceful enjoyment of their home, because
Mm.
that spouse whose interest was not addressed can come back and make a claim on the title insurance.
I'm not sure.
Um,
Are you able to answer? Okay, husband and wife, but now they're buying investment properties. And husband says, I just want to buy properties, 10 properties in my name only. How do you address that?
Yeah. With investment properties, they can buy it in either names, and they can sell without the other person as well if there's no divorce decree and marital settlement agreement addressing any splitting. Investors do that because they don't want to overload both credits and both names. So they'll
yeah.
buy some in one person's name, some in the other. With investment property, you have the flexibility to do that, not with primary residence.
Big
Uh,
difference. Primary
Yeah,
res where
same
you're
thing with
living.
the same thing with deeding out. If the investment property was quit claimed, even though they're still married, they quit claim the investment property. we don't need the spouse when we go to sell because there was no homestead interest.
Right.
Right. Right.
So big difference. Homestead is very protected here in Florida.
We're in Florida.
Yeah, very, very protected. Someone messaged about ladybug deed or ladybird. Are you
Ladybird deed. So yes, so we can touch on Ladybird deed, but again, that's a
right?
very tender topic.
Okay.
Okay, so you definitely need to go to an attorney to have a ladybird or what's called an enhanced life estate deed. And basically, what that is where the seller or the grantor, as we say, can convey their home, keeping back a life estate interest, but deeding to their beneficiary upon their death. Now, the purpose of that deed is to avoid probate. So, but there are certain languages
Right.
and clauses that has to be in there by an attorney to make sure that their intentions are properly covered with all the clauses because the ladybird deed still allows the owner to mortgage, sell, and have full control of the property. But if the clause isn't there, it could be limited. So again, we always push those over to a real estate attorney. But that's in a nutshell what the purpose of the ladybird deed is.
Awesome. So you get it once the person dies. Go
Mm-hmm.
to, we have real estate attorneys too that we can recommend
Right.
for that. Um, Dr. Arlene, did you have a question? Okay. Louis, you seem like you have a question.
Um, let's talk about foreign nationals. Um, when can you quick claim a deed, someone on the deed from overseas that have an overseas address? How does that work? It doesn't have a U.S. address. Is that legal or how does that work?
Again, the best thing for them to do is to get some legal advice because they don't want to get caught up into a FERPTA issue, which
Mm,
is for IRS. Okay, so once that person, a foreign national, is deeded on to their property, when they sell, they're subject to FERPTA.
mhm.
So that's opening up a whole different can of worms when you
Sure.
tell them we have to hold back 15% of the gross proceeds
Yes.
for IRS taxes. So you want to make sure you have an attorney on board before you put a person who is non-US citizen,
Mhm.
does not file taxes in the US on your deed.
Right.
Yes.
And
It's
keep in
a
mind also too that the person that you're deeding on, that you're adding on to any title, anything they have against their name. Let's say I am adding my son to my title. If my son has a State Farm claim against him for a traffic accident, child support, any kind of liens, judgments, credit card judgments, if he was sued by any credit card company who opted out of that law and they're allowed to sue, like American Express, I think Discover. If any judgments on my son, if I deed him on to my title, those judgments automatically attaches themselves to my
Mhm.
title.
Title.
yeah.
So quit claim deeds and in general is just a really bad product and should not be taken lightly.
Awesome.
And
Exactly.
the thing is, once I put my son's name on, okay, let's say I am not in the business and I didn't know anything about this. Let's say I'm the client and I put him on and he had those judgments and State Farm had a 45,000 judgment against him. Well, he was just a young man. He didn't own anything. So whatever, let it sit there whenever, whatever, right? But the moment he owns property, that judgment attaches to that
Mhm.
title. Now, when they find out, even if they go again and quick claim him off, it does not remove the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
The judgment stays once you had put him in title.
Right.
So even if you take him off, it still stays there.
Right. Mm. So we have to be careful when we add people and all these different things, and remove, especially removing yourself off your title. Sometimes people don't even understand what they're doing. They just see that they keep getting the letters from the mortgage company. So they say, people have gotten sick when I tell you, sick, 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 because they didn't understand that that happened to them. So think about how devastating that person is. The mortgage is still coming. So they said, no, I'm getting the letters from the mortgage
Yeah.
company. And then we have to say, but you don't own it anymore. You have no rights. So people, be very careful. Contact an attorney before you just sign anything.
Yeah. See, I'm glad you mentioned that part, because here's the kicker. They're still obligated for the debt, but they don't own the asset. Okay? Because the
Yes.
mortgage is still in their name. So their social is still under fire, and they're going to have a foreclosure against their name, even though the quitclaim deed is 5 years old.
Right.
So those are usually done where there's an agreement, a mutual agreement that says, okay, in 6 months, I want this mortgage out my name. Make sure people will follow up to see that that's done. But the beauty about getting behind on mortgage and wanting to get out of that situation is not by quit claim deed anymore. We're starting to close a lot of assumption of mortgages, and that's an old product. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
before, I don't know if you guys remember the days of assumption of mortgages,
Oh
and that's
yes.
coming back because a lot of those interest rates are
Or,
good.
mm-hmm.
They're low. So a lot of lenders, instead of going through foreclosure, they are now allowing assumption of mortgages.
A mortgage. Hmm. That's good.
Interesting, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Good to
Good, good.
know. I
Yeah.
know we've got 20 minutes left. We had some questions also about power of attorney. Is that something that you do or
No, we
not?
refer them out to real estate attorneys.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So what's usually factors that could mess up let's say a real estate closing, because that's the business that we're in, um with quit claims, or I guess it would be title search. So you explain how important, how critical title search is, and I think anybody that's
Mm-hmm.
going through a mortgage will do one, but we know sometimes cash deals, do they usually follow through and do title search?
If a title company is involved to prepare documents,
Hmm.
they have to do a title search. If they're giving title insurance to the buyer, they have to do a title search. And who wants this is the education that's lacking in the home buying market is you're buying an investment, maybe your biggest investment. You're putting out cash, okay? You're putting out cash. Isn't that when you want to make sure the asset is free and clear, that your cash is protected? Because your
Mhm.
cash is turning into this concrete structure. You no longer have the cash, you have a concrete structure. Wouldn't you like to know that there is title insurance against it, and all the searches have been done to make sure that even if you end up taking a quitclaim deed, at least you know that the title is good.
In terms of how many people can be on a title at closing, is there a limit in regards
I
to
don't
that?
think there's a limit. We've seen 15,
15 people. Nice.
but I don't think there is a limit. If it's a cash
These are-
deal, if it's a loan, if they're getting a loan, I'm sure there are criterias.
yes. And what about age limit? There's an age limit. Talk about age
No,
limit.
no,
No.
we just don't suggest that they put it in young
My,
adults. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely not children, not minors, because then you need to, if anything happens to the property, again, this is where we send them to real estate attorneys, because this
Yeah.
we're not giving legal advice, but just think about it. Minors cannot make decisions for themselves. So if there's anything to, and the property have to be sold, if the minor's name was put on title, the court have to appoint a guardian to
Mm-hmm.
sign the sale for that minor, because they can't sign.
All right. Very good.
the piece that people forget, even in the life insurance business, people think that minors, well, I'll just put it in my kid's name and the child is
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
important to know.
So now the other parent gets to control.
Yeah.
If somebody just want to make sure that, I mean, they bought the property, they sit on it, but if somebody just want to, or listening, want to make sure that there is no encumbrance on the property, they can call you just to do that, and you'll run a title search for them.
Yes, we'll do a title search for them. Mm-hmm.
And what is the average cost for that for individuals, for people? I mean,
From 85 to about $110. And that's where we question people. You're refusing to do a title search when that's not even the most important fee, the biggest fee. That's
yeah,
actually the cheapest fee.
the cheapest one. That is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is not expensive to do a title search.
No, sir. That's
Right.
especially if the house changes and so many times.
Right.
That's a
Now,
very
what's found on
thing.
the title search is where the money may come in to clear the title. If
Mhm.
it's a lot of issues found on the search and you're asking the title company to clear the matters, that's where settlement fee comes in, where we have to put work into it. But the actual search, just to see what's against the title and say, hey, Donna, there's two mortgages, there's a lien with State Farm, there's a judgment, there's an open permit. That's the easy part. Now, if Donna says, okay, we need to get the permit off, we need to get the judgment taken care of, and I have to track down the judgment creditor and the mortgage companies, if they're old mortgage companies, for example, that's gone out of business in the
Mhm.
crash, then that's my time and effort.
Right.
So that's where money will come in. And again, a couple $100 for your peace of mind.
That's important. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
One of the biggest thing I see going on now, is this panel thing, that sun, what you call it, energy
The solar
saver.
panels.
Yeah, this thing has been a problem, and a lot of people are
Yeah.
stuck with these things now, and they think it was, just a small
Mm-hmm.
thing. Right now, how do you navigate around some of these things that are
Well,
going on?
what we're finding with the solar panel companies,
Yeah,
and me personally, I am not in favor of folks putting solar panel on unless you really your house is like pretty much free and clear,
yeah,
because it takes up the equity in your property. There's so
yes,
many people who cannot refinance
yes.
because, and again, the solar panel companies are known to push documents. So we've had elderly people who didn't realize they signed a second mortgage. The solar
Mm,
panel liens operates under a second mortgage. It doesn't
mm,
say solar panel agreement in the public records. It says second mortgage. It says it's
mm,
a regular mortgage. They didn't
yes.
realize they signed a mortgage because they hear two words: no money out of your pocket and free by the
Mm,
county, right? They
mm,
always say the county is doing
Right.
this,
Hmm.
bathroom renovation, new windows, the county.
mm,
Nothing is free.
mm.
So there's a lien somewhere. So
In
we
regard,
have so many people who have sold, walked away with nothing when they thought they were getting 60,000. and the solar panel lien has to be paid. That buyer signed that contract, and this is where realtors need to do their due diligence on behalf
Yes.
of their buyers. If
Yes.
they see solar panel, they need to ask, are they paid off? Are
Mm.
they leased? Is there a balance? What is the seller's plans? Are they agreeing to pay them off? Because I'm buying the house as is. I see it with the solar. Yes, I'm taking the solar, but I'm not agreeing to take the solar lien.
Right.
I'm not agreeing to take over a second mortgage. So those discussions have to be had in order for a good closing where everyone comes out getting their nice referrals because we did a good job
Yes.
and protecting everyone and lessening the stress and anxiety for both the sellers and the buyers because listing agent didn't ask anything about the solar panels, buyer's agent didn't ask anything about solar panels. Now we as the title company have to be the ones to call both parties and say, hey, Miss Seller, did you know there was a solar lien? Oh no, they said it was free by the county. I don't owe any money for that.
Mm.
No, ma'am, there is a lien.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the seller says, I'm not paying it off. And then when this all started, solar panel companies were subordinating those liens. Now that everybody's business and budgets are down, they're not easily subordinating any longer. They want to be paid
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Mm. The
Very
same
important.
thing I see with air conditioning as well. This is a new trend. I see people who take out air condition unit, and that is now also on your house, on your deed, or on
Well,
something.
I've never seen the AC unless they just do a financing statement. If they do a UCC financing statement because they couldn't pay for it up front,
Right.
it is a lien, but it's not like those liens. That's just like you buy furniture, but you weren't able to pay off for it, and you know at some point you're gonna pay off the balance.
Got you.
But that's there as well. The water softeners are just
Mhm.
like the AC and the hurricane shutters. So
Mhm.
those are liens due to financing. And most times those the owners have knowledge that the company is creating a financing statement and they'll
Mm.
have a little payment per month.
Mm. So when you see this as an agent, you shouldn't freak out. You explain that obviously to the buyer. This is
Right.
standard, but it's not recorded on your deed.
What?
The air condition and these other small items.
Well, if the seller tells you that they owe funds to the AC company, yes, it's good to know that. But I don't think we've ever seen more than one where the AC hasn't been paid off. You know, they may put a new AC and finance it through the company, but
Hmm.
yes, anything that's gonna have a payment or a balance due, we will find it if it's recorded. We can only find items that's recorded in the public records because remember, we're not physically going anywhere. We're searching on the computer to the
Yeah.
public records.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's important to get a title search, whatever business that you're conducting regarding your real estate property, whether it's a primary or investment, vacation home, second home, whatever it is critical. So we thank you, Dee Harrison, Alpha Title, for coming
Yes.
on and giving us such wonderful wisdom about title. Last
Right.
words, Dr. Arlene?
Dee, I'm grateful for the information about the solar panel. Throughout we're a town that is exploding with the new home structures, and I people are constantly in our neighborhoods. Oh, we just put on solar, then
Oh
we
yeah.
that,
Honey.
and we heard the word free, and I'm saying, no, 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 no. We don't need
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I'm able to pass on that information to other folks. And I like what you said about this. It's not good, the solar panel. The lien can eat out the equity, and
Right.
people don't know that. So thank
And
you.
again, with full disclosure, it can be a good thing for some people. It's just full disclosure and letting the person know, especially the elderly. A lot of the solar panel companies approaches the elderly, and they're not aware. They only want to know that their light bill is going to go down
Yeah.
How
because
much?
they're on a fixed income. And
Mhm.
when they hear that they're paying $240 a month and it's going to be like $30, which elderly person wouldn't say yes to the dress?
Yes, they're gonna go
But
for it.
is that true? I've read of seen many accounts of people who said that they have not seen it yet. The reduction.
What?
The
The
reduction.
reduction?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I've never had solar panel, so I've never really asked anyone what's your saving.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, thank you. Tell us again, Dee, where people can find you on social media and office phone.
Yes, so our office is in Orlando, right across from Universal Studios in the Regents Bank building, very easily located, and in Maitland as well. But we can be reached at our phone number is 407-355-3300, and our website alphareliabletitle.com. Um, and any other questions can be forwarded to you, Donna. But I really want to reiterate again before I get off that none of what we discussed is legal advice. We always uh, refer to legal counsels. So please note that this is not a legal advice forum, just knowledge and experience only.
Educational purposes
Mm-hmm.
only. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is also being saved, and I'll upload the YouTube because we know Facebook is deleting lives after so many
Yeah.
weeks now. So last word, Lois?
Thank you so much, Dee. It's good to see you again, and we hope
Yes.
continue doing business with each other.
Yes. Same here,
Great.
Lois.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah, man. Blessings, everyone. Have a
Okay,
good
guys.
night.
Yes.
Have
Donna,
Take care.
take care of
Mm,
your arm.
I
okay.
know. I'm gonna going
Where's
right back to bed now.
yeah,
Yes.
back to
Have
bed.
a good
Bye,
night,
guys. Take
everyone.
care. Good
Good to
night.
see
Thank
you.
you.
it
Bye.
all
Thank you,
talk
Lloyd.
minutes until the
Yes.
end.